Now to a man who has seen firsthand what kind of damage the extreme right wing can cause and is now taking some bold action in response. You may recall that Van Jones was an advisor to the Obama White House in 2009 when a smear campaign led by Glenn Beck and others at Fox News cost him his job. Well, Jones is fighting back now, both against the personal attacks he's still getting and against the conservative agenda that put tax cuts for the rich first and jobs for everyone else second. Jones' lawyers have sent a cease and desist letter to Fox News demanding an end to what it alleges are false attacks about Jones, including claims that he spent time in jail and that he supports cop killers.
He just spent some time in jail where he was arrested.
A guy like Van Jones, who's a friend of the president, all right? And he comes in, and he's a hardcore Marxist.
He's an avowed communist on top of everything else. He's a radical revolutionary communist that doesn't like cops and a 9/11 truther.
Jones is also challenging Glenn Beck to a debate. That would be fun. But Beck has declined in the process, once again resorting to character assassination, saying Jones is not honest. Which is a funny joke coming from Beck. And of course, Beck continues to call Jones a communist to this day. Meantime, Jones has a much bigger project in the works as well. At the Netroots conference, he called on progressives to rise up together.
We have dream killers who have a wrecking ball agenda for our country, a wrecking ball for America. But they painted that wrecking ball red, white, and blue. And they think that we're going to stand here and salute their red, white, and blue wrecking ball. They got another thought coming. It's time for the deep patriots to stand up to the cheap patriots.
That brought the House down at Netroots. And tomorrow, Jones is teaming up with the folks at MoveOn.org to launch the Rebuild the Dream campaign with an event in New York City. The message: we don't need spending cuts, we need jobs. Thank God somebody's saying it. With me now is the man himself, Van Jones, president and co-founder of RebuildTheDream.com. All right, Van, first, let's get this out of the way. What are the different lies that Fox News and Glenn Beck continue to say about you?
Well, I mean, there's no point. The list would be too long. And, you know, you and I had a disagreement. I tried to be a turn-the-other-cheek guy about this whole thing. But, you know, the human body only has 4 cheeks. I ran out of cheeks to turn. And I finally just had to say, look, I want to have a serious discussion with the American people about how we can get jobs going again. And I can't have that discussion if somebody's going to be screaming falsehoods out into the public square. You know, we have some serious problems. I'm glad that the president may be bringing some troops home, but, you know, what are they coming home to? Joblessness, hopelessness, allegedly now 17 suicide attempts a day for our young veterans. We're a better country than that. And we have got to be able to have a balanced approach to our budget problems. When you have a family with a budget problem, you don't just say, well, let's just starve grandma. No, you might cut back on non-essentials, but then Junior goes out, gets a paper route, you increase the revenues. We've got to be able to put tax increases on the table, especially for the wealthy, so that we can continue to have a country with a middle class in it, with a government that can function. Washington, D.C., is in for a major wake-up call. They are so far out on this war and austerity agenda. The American people want peace and prosperity, not war and austerity. And what you're going to see starting tomorrow is the birth of a new movement, the American Dream movement, to defend the American dream.
All right, Van, you know, you mentioned that we had a disagreement. I've always been in favor of fighting back.
Yeah.
Okay, so now,
granted.
Right, now, you when you came out of the White House first,
Yeah.
you came in being very polite and et cetera, et cetera. What made you change your mind on this, and why did you hold back then?
Well, you know, first of all, you got to remember, I resigned from the White House because I thought that, the right wing was going to use all my colorful past and try to, distract the president from getting doctors to babies, which was, we had a president finally trying to do something about health care. I said, much more important for the president to focus on America's future than my colorful past. But 2 years later, these folks, they're like stalkers. They just won't let it go. And so my position is they can say whatever they want to about me for a while, then they cross the line and they attack the American dream itself. Glenn Beck said the American dream is a subversive conspiracy. And no, this new movement that it is emerging to stand up for jobs, to say Wall Street's got to back down and treat the American people with some respect. This American dream movement represents the hopes and aspirations of ordinary people who are working hard to put meals on the table and who were scared in this country and who deserve better. To attack that movement, I said, this guy's gone a bridge too far. We've got to draw a line in the sand and say, we got serious problems in this country. We got to have serious solutions. Let's stop the smears. So I said, stop smearing me. Let's have a real debate. And, of course, the guy runs behind a door when it's time to talk about having a real debate.
Of course. Now, real quick, Van, let me give you a number here. When you ask American people what's most important, 42% say unemployment and jobs. Only 17% say government spending. Who looks at that chart and goes, yeah, let's focus on government spending and federal deficits instead of jobs? Why are the Democrats going in the wrong direction here in their emphasis? Real quick here, 20 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the American people have not stood up loudly enough. We have a small number of cheap patriots that are screaming for cuts, cuts, cuts. But the deep patriots haven't stood up yet for the American dream. That's going to happen tomorrow, starting Thursday. RebuildTheDream.com, 8:15 p.m. East Coast time. Check it out. A new movement will be born, and it will include the roots.
All right. Van Jones, president and co-founder of Rebuild the Dream, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.